Welcome to Bryer's Music Showcase. I'm Bryer and welcome to another video. And in this one, I'm finally continuing my 80s series where I go through every year throughout the 80s and I name my top 5 favorite albums. So we've reached 1985. I was pretty surprised I actually don't own that many albums from this year, but the ones I do have are very good. Like pretty much some of my favorite albums are in this one. So this should be a lot of fun. Of course, in the comments, let me know some of your favorites that were not mentioned, because of course, this is all just my opinion. We all hear albums differently, so if I don't name an album that I didn't mention, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. And of course, leave your thoughts on my top 5. And other than that, if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's get started. At number 5, we have probably the only heavy metal album on the list. I'm sure there's a ton more, but again, if you've been keeping up with the series, just know that I'm only talking about albums I have in my collection. So the one I'm going to be talking about is this one, and to give you a hint, we're going to be rocking with Dokken because we got Dokken. We have Under Lock and Key. So this is I think this is probably their most well-known album. Had some pretty good hits on here. Of course, it had In My Dreams and the Unchained the Night, I think, was pretty big. I think Slipping Away was also one. It's Not Love is also a really great song. The Hunter, Lightning Strikes Again, Will the Sun Rise, which is a very great song. Really love the kind of ominous tone on that one. Very cool. Love that one. So yeah, I do have a couple Dokken, but this is probably my favorite one. Definitely a good blend of the commercial sound, but they still have a great rock metal sound. And it really comes down to George Lynch, who is a great guitar player. Some fantastic stuff. And Don Dokken, pretty good vocalist here. This is probably where it sounds as one of his best sounding albums. So yeah, let's look inside, of course. So inside, you just got a nice standard disc. And there's I'm going to assume this is a pamphlet rather than a booklet. Half right. So all it is on the inside, you just got the lyrics. No pictures or anything. Just gives you all the basic info you need. And then you have a picture of the band on the back. All right, so you got Mick Brown on drums and backing vocals, George Lynch on guitar, Don Dokken lead vocals, and Jeff Pilson on bass and background vocals. All right, so that's the lineup. I know I don't have a whole lot to say, but you know, it's not a whole lot to say. It's just a very great heavy metal album from the 80s. And yeah, Dokken are kind of one of those kind of, well, they're not too unknown, but definitely don't get as lot spotlight like the other contemporaries like Motley Crue or Def Leppard or Poison. But yeah, I think Dokken's pretty underrated. So again, number 5 for me. So now we head to some pop, and of course I'm going to be talking about some Phil Collins. So we have No Jacket Required, which is his 3rd studio album. And yeah, I love this album. It's one of my favorites of him. This is just his full-blown pop record, because of course you have the debut, which is still kind of poppy, but there's just still some moments of like the jazz and the more experimental side of him. Then you get to the 2nd album, which is getting more poppy, but has a more R&B flair to it. But this one is just full-blown 80s pop. And they sound great. You have Studio, which is the opening track, and you know, I heard some people say that's one of the worst songs ever. I'm like, dude, lighten up. It's a good pop number. Like, why you gotta be so uptight? But anyhow, after that, you have Only You Know and I Know, pretty good follow-up song. Long, Long Way to Go, and another one that kind of feels kind of political songs. Again, kind of just talking about what the world's coming to and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny, and it's well, not funny, but what's kind of cool is, what I meant to say is that you have Sting on backing vocals, which is kind of cool. I Don't Want to Know, very good song. One More Night is a great pop ballad. And funny enough, I should probably show this. I have it on a 45, which is pretty cool. So let me just showcase it real quick. So here it is. Hopefully you can see that, but this is side A, One More Night. And on the back you have a song which I think was written during his second album, but they kind of released it here. We have The Man with the Horn. But yep, that's kind of nice to own. I got it for like $2, so didn't want to just leave it. But anyway, back to the album. Don't Lose My Number was another big hit on here. Who Said I Would? It's pretty good. Doesn't Anybody Stay Together Anymore? I would say that song and Inside Out are kind of the weakest songs on here, but you know, they're still pretty nice. It closes out with Take Me Home Tonight, which is a great song. You have Peter Gabriel and Sting providing backing vocals, which is kind of cool as well. And this particular CD has a bonus song, We Said Hello Goodbye, which not really the best song on here, but it's kind of nice. It includes it. But yeah, let's quickly see what's on the inside. Kind of the same format as the Dawkins CD earlier. So on the inside, kind of this handwritten approach. Then you have a picture of Phil, which I'm pretty sure was part of the original album. Might have been a gatefold, if I'm not mistaken. Then you just have a picture of a jacket. So yeah, not much to say on the booklet itself. But yeah, say what you want about Phil Collins' solo career. I mean, he was popular for a reason. I mean, he knew how to write a good pop hook. So yeah, that's gonna be my number 3, which again, ironically, it's his third album. So actually, no, I'm on number 4. What am I on about? Ignore what I said. Number 4 favorite album from 1985. For number 3, this might surprise people because I'm not sure how many people actually have heard of this band or this album. And I've talked about it before, but this is a good chance to talk about it again. So next up, this is from a band called China Crisis, and this is their album Flaunt the Imperfection. And this is a 2 CD pack, so disc 1 has the original album, and side 2 has a lot of bonus stuff, like a lot of demos, some live stuff, some session work, some from the BBC. So yeah, very good, very cool. So, fun fact, this was actually produced by Walter Becker of Steely Dan. So that's kind of another tidbit. It sounds great, by the way. And he also plays some guitar on here. So basically how I came across this album is that one of you fellow viewers, this was during when I was doing my 100 favorite songs of all time miniseries, and people were kind of playing as well. They were naming some of their favorite songs. And I was just looking through some of them. I didn't go through all of them because that's a lot of songs. But one song that caught my eye was the song You Did Cut Me. And I decided to check that song out. And literally the first sound of the saxophone like immediately hooked me. It's just so memorable, just so hooky, and just really enjoy the vocals. It has a great vibe to it. And that really made me want to get this album. So I did. And to me, this is a great album. Like, I enjoy every song on here. The highest high, strength of character. You Did Cut Me, like I just said. I think the biggest hit on here was Black Man Ray, which is, if I'm not mistaken, but that's a good song as well. The bigger the punch, I'm feeling, another one of my favorite songs on here. Excuse me, but top to bottom, just a fantastic album. Like, this is an album I want more people should be hearing. Like, it's not like it's not like it's the most groundbreaking album ever, but it's definitely one of my favorites of this year. And it's kind of funny because I haven't had this album for that long, but it's already in my top 5 of 1985. So I did a short on this one too not that long ago, and it didn't get a whole lot of views because again, they're kind of a more niche type of band, but I really suggest people check this out. So again, I just showed them 2 discs there, and then I'll show the booklet here. I'm not going to go too in depth because there's a lot of info. I think you have interviews here by the 2 main guys. Of course, by this point they had a full band, but really it comes down to mainly 2. And it's in this nice blue color. So if you like blue, you might dig this. There is a photo of Walter Becker with them, which I'll probably show in a sec. We're getting there. Yeah, there we go. So if you see, like on the closest, you see Walter Becker there. Right? Just some great new wave synth pop at its finest. So yeah, that's gonna be my third favorite. At number 2, we have another very well-known act from the 80s, and this is by far my favorite by this duo. We have Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. I mean, just the production on here, like it's 80s sounding, but to me it doesn't sound dated at all. Like you can hear it now and I can still listen to, I still enjoy it. Like just so many memorable songs. You have Shout, The Working Hour. Then of course you have Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which is the biggest hit on here, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time, honestly. Like it's probably my top 10. Like just the sounds of the keyboards on those keyboard chords just gets me every time. Then you have the simple guitar line that plays throughout, just great. Then after that you have Mother's Talk, I Believe, Broken, which are kind of more experimental, but definitely still has some great stuff in there. Then you have the other hits, Head Over Heels, and it closes out with Listen. Not a lot of songs, but it's just another great album. Like absolutely sounds spectacular even today. So open it up, you have the disc. It's hard to describe the sound. Kind of new wave, a little bit of synth, kind of pop rockish in a sense. So of course it's mainly done by two guys, Roland. I'm gonna see if I can say this right. Roland Orzabal. I tried. Then you have Kurt Smith. So there they are. Of course, they're on the cover. I will say, I guess going back, I would say the album cover is kind of lacking. You know, Songs from the Big Chair. What does that mean? Maybe it's their heads. Maybe that's the big chair. Another photo of them. All the other credits. Then close out with another photo of the two. So that's my second favorite album of 1985, Songs from the Big Chair by Tears for Fears. And like always, let's show off some honorable mentions. Now we get to my number one, and this might actually shock some people. No, it's not. Number one, Hounds Love by Kate Bush. I mean, what else am I going to choose? I mean, come on. I mean, I did a whole ranking video on her not that long ago. By the way, if you've not seen my Kate Bush ranking video, please go ahead and watch that. Put a lot of work into that one. One of my favorite videos I've done this year so far. So yeah, I'm not going to go too far in depth because I pretty much talked about enough. I talked about it in the Kate Bush ranking video. But yeah, it's my favorite Kate Bush album. I mean, it's the perfect blend of the commercial and also the wacky experimental side of her. And yeah, spectacular. I mean, track listing, of course, you have Running Up That Hill. I mean, I talked about it before. No need to talk about it again. Cloud Busting, I love. Title track. Mother Stands for Comfort. Then you have the side two, which is known as the Ninth Wave. Mini Concept, masterpiece. I mean, this is 10 out of 10 to me. Nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't have changed anything off here. You open it up. There it is. Kind of similar to the other ones I've shown in the past. Still says Fish People. Alright, so you have a little quote. Wave after wave, each mightier than the last, till last a ninth one, gathering half the deep, and full of voices, slowly rose and plunged, roaring, and all the wave was in a flame. Tennyson, The Coming of Arthur. So there you go. So here's the booklet. Open it up. Just have the lyrics. Then you have another photo of Kate in this outfit like she is here. So there you have it. That is my top 5 favorite albums of 1985. So again, in the comments below, let me know some of your favorite ones that I didn't mention. Let me know your thoughts on my top 5 and even the honorable mentions if you want to as well. And I'll see you next time where we talk about 1986, another pretty big year of music for that decade. So look forward to that. So again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye for now.